What a wild week in politics. We have no new health care plan. We do have strong and swift reaction after the president says he's banning transgender individuals from the military. Also, we're breaking down why you should care about what may have happened between Russia and members of the Trump campaign before the president took office. I'm Ann Trujillo, and welcome to Politics Unplugged. All it took was one tweet from the president, and it caused a Twitter storm. The president on Wednesday, in a series of tweets, announcing a ban on transgender people from serving in the military. Kamasi Aaron talked to a transgender veteran from here in Colorado.
The president made the announcement on Twitter. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you.
I'm really disappointed in President Trump's actions today.
Emma Shin is a highly decorated combat veteran who served 20 years in the U.S. Marine Corps.
To alienate a segment of our population who raised their right hand and swore to protect and defend our Constitution and our nation by saying that they're a disruption, I think is incredibly dismissive. And it's a distraction from things that are very important to our service members, and that's being able to live openly and authentically.
The president's tweet comes just weeks after the defense secretary asked for more time to delay and review the Obama administration's decision to allow people who are transgender to join the military. Even the Pentagon, which is doing that review, was surprised by the decision and referred all questions to the White House.
I served on active duty in the military, and I can tell you, we don't care about gender orientation or identity or who you love. We just care you can shoot straight and complete the mission.
Right now, we have people who cannot serve in the military with asthma or with flat feet. So why would we allow individuals to come in, although they're very patriotic and we appreciate their desire to serve, but who have these medical issues that could be very, very costly?
Transgender veterans say not all of them need or require medical procedures and that the cost is a red herring. The Department of Defense seems to agree. It commissioned a study last year that found allowing transgender people to serve would have very little impact on military readiness and health care costs. Right now, there are an estimated 2,500 to 7,000 transgender service members.
I think that it is a betrayal of the trust that our service members placed in this administration, and honestly, our public placed in this administration.
Well, Democrats and Republicans from Colorado's congressional delegation quickly reacted, coming out against the president's decision. Republican Mike Hoffman telling CNN's Wolf Blitzer he was unaware of what the president was doing.
As a veteran member of the Armed Services Committee, let me ask you about the president's newly announced ban on transgender service members. 3 defense officials now tell CNN that members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they were completely blindsided by the president's announcement on Twitter yesterday. Was the Armed Services Committee, your committee, aware this ban by the president was coming?
No, absolutely not. I'm the chairman of the Military Personnel Subcommittee, and so I was looking forward to the review that that Secretary Mattis has already started on the transgender issue to see under what circumstances, if any, transgender personnel can continue serving in the United States military. And so he had started on July 1st a 6-month review, comprehensive review. I trust General Mattis. Having served in the United States Marine Corps, he was an extraordinary general, leader in our military, and so I know whatever decision he would come out with at the end of this process that he had started would be for the good order and discipline of the United States military, as well as not compromising the combat effectiveness of our armed forces.
Fellow Republican Representative Ken Buck pushing back against the president, saying America needs a military comprised of patriots willing to sacrifice for this country. Republican Senator Cory Gardner saying, quote, anyone who wants to serve in our military and is capable and willing should be able to do so. Democratic Senator Michael Bennet adding our commander-in-chief should not ban Americans who are qualified to serve in our military. This is an obvious attempt to distract from the Republicans' disastrous debate on health care. Now, on the Democratic side of the House, Representative Jared Polis saying, quote, in a dangerous world, we can't afford to weaken our military by kicking out high-performing service members just because of their gender identity. And Representative Diana DeGette says, quote, this bigoted decision won't make us any safer. Well, we have invited Sarah Alder of the American Veterans for Equal Rights Organization to join us to talk about this. First, that must be very reassuring to hear from our congressional delegation that they have your back here. But you served in the military. Give us your background here.
My background is I joined the military in 2000 in Utah, and it was to get my education, and it evolved into this patriotic, amazing experience, and it has continued to be that for me. I got out in 2008 because I didn't want to get kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was important to me that I have that honorable service on my DD-214 stating that I honorably served my country and I fulfilled my contract. And the majority of the people in the United States either cannot serve or they don't want to serve. And so knowing that I made that commitment to my country and the people that I care about is something that nobody can ever take away from me, and I don't want that to be taken away from anybody else.
So tell us about this organization and what you're trying to accomplish.
So American Veterans for Equal Rights, we are a national chapter-based organization. We are a 501c3, the only LGBT veteran service organization recognized by the VA, so we leverage that relationship as much as possible, and we advocate for veterans as a whole, but specifically for our LGBT service members. And we have members that are active duty as well as veterans and allies and supporters and civilians. We have people that are passionate about taking care of our service members.
And why do you think anyone should be able to serve the military? I mean, again, we heard all of those members of Congress in support. Why is that important?
Why is it important for us to be able to serve?
Yes.
As an LGBT person or a transgender or anybody.
Sure.
It's a unique opportunity to show our true patriotism and dedication and service for our freedoms and liberties that we have. So many countries out there cannot be on social media or anything like that and speak out against their president or anybody else. It gives us that fighting chance for everybody to have a voice and everybody to have the right to a freedom of assembly and advocate for themselves instead of having a dictatorship that tells you how to act and what you need, and nobody wants to be told what they need.
Sure. The president said the issue came down to cost. His tweet said our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruptions that transgender in the military would entail. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, and I've done some additional research, and it's important for me as a leader to know the statistics associated with the people that I serve, that majority of the service members that get any kind of gender confirming process that started, whether it be hormone therapy or full conversion, not conversion therapy, but pardon me, full transitional confirmation surgery, everybody falls somewhere along that spectrum to changing their outward appearance to doing that full-fledged surgery. Not everybody goes through to that extreme, and I think what they're focusing on is that end result that every transgender person and service member wants to do that full transition, and that's not true. Everybody's unique experience and identity falls within a spectrum, and focusing on one particular aspect does not create a financial burden. I can give an example of just a statistic associated with the medical care costs for transgender service members. It's 0.04% of all of the costs.
I think one of the other issues people who criticized having transgender people in the military, there was concern about living arrangements and unit cohesion. Are those legitimate issues?
I think they're making an issue of nothing. They want to create something that's separate but equal. On all military forms, there's only male or female, and either a male will transition to female or female will transition to male. There's no in-between sex, not when it comes to military documentation. So they will identify as either or. So it's not really an integration issue. They're already serving, so it comes down to a company level and that bottom leadership that makes that decision of how that unit cohesion happens.
Did you feel any discrimination? Did you feel any pressure when you were in the military?
Absolutely.
Again, you served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Absolutely. I had some of my higher leadership that tried to out me as a lesbian twice. One of them falsified an ID complaint against me with statements from people I had never even met. And these people later apologized for that and being part of that. And I've also had issues with sexism. I had other leadership that adamantly swore that women did not belong in the military. And so this issue is not a new issue. We've done the same conversation with African Americans. We've done the same conversation with women as we join the military. Women can now serve in combat positions, which is amazing. And this shouldn't be another issue. We're making an issue out of something that's so small, and it wasn't on the radar until people put it on the radar.
So with 30 seconds left, what is it that you hope to accomplish? What would you like to see?
I would like to see organizations and people become active in their community. Be a part of organizations that align with something that you value, that is important to you, whether it be for or against. I don't care. That is your right. You have a responsibility as a citizen to stand up and have your voice heard. Put your money where your mouth is, really. If you support something, do something. Say something, donate, volunteer your time. Talking to people outside of your comfort zone, getting an understanding of their perspective is very helpful.
Sarah Alder, thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
you being here to talk with us.
It's an honor.
When we come back, we're talking about VA wait times and voter information, so stay right there.